Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So recently I've gotten a couple of emails from people asking me if I can review more parlor and stage effects. I've decided that this month's workers review is going to center around a piece of mental clairvoyance which has served me very well for the past 4 years. Definitely perfect for parlor and stage, and that is the Jumbo X-ray envelope by Astor. If you're not familiar with Astor, he's a Hungarian mentalist. He's put out a lot of mentalist products over the years. You probably have seen his mental epic because it's very well known. Now this product definitely checks all the boxes for me for what a worker is, as it's easy to perform, easy to understand, gets huge reactions, instantly repeatable, and totally examinable, which is really great. This is definitely built to last. I've had mine now for 4 years. I actually keep it inside the same packaging. You can see this totally packs flat. So what is the effect? The effect in a nutshell is this. You have a spectator come up front. You have a couple of ESP symbols on large transparent cards, and you have a hard plastic opaque envelope. You turn your back, you have them select one of the ESP symbols and put it in the envelope while your back is turned. They hide the other symbols. You turn back around and you can almost instantaneously tell them the symbol they're thinking of. The method is ingenious, simple, easy to perform, and it's literally foolproof because your spectators will never know how it's possible. As I said before, this is totally examinable, which just adds an extra layer onto it. The effect can be performed as a standalone item, or you can combine it with other mentalist effects. You can use it as part of a mental epic. You can also use it as part of a confabulation routine. So this will cost you about $100 from your favorite magic dealer, although I did recently see that it was being sold on eBay for $50. So if somebody acts quickly, they could probably still pick this up for $50. What are you going to get inside here? Well, I'm going to show you guys. What you're going to get is you're going to get the clear, transparent plastic ESP symbol cards, which are large, which makes this perfect for parlor or stage because you can see it from far away. You can see that they are color coded, which makes it easier to see the symbols. I like that a lot. The opaque envelope is hard plastic, and this can be completely examined by all your spectators. They're never going to see anything or figure out the secret to it. This does not rely on electronics or markings of any sort. There is no sleight of hand necessary to perform this. So, a couple of questions that you guys are probably going to have about this are as follows. One, how difficult is this to perform? It's not. It's absolutely simple. Like I mentioned, there is no sleight of hand. You can have your spectator come up. You can let them put the card in the envelope. They can look at it. They can look at it up to the light. They can see that you can't see anything through it, although it only takes you a split second to know what is inside. In terms of the angles, you can have people all around you. I've had people completely all around me, and the reason is because it only takes a moment to get the information that you need to, and your spectators don't know what to look for. The actual secret is very subtle and sneaky and absolutely clever. This is a wonderful effect because it can be instantly repeated. I never repeat it more than twice, and I'm going to tell you guys the reasons momentarily why that is. Let's go into what you would consider as being maybe the negative aspects of this effect. There's two major negative aspects. The first one is that you have to justify why you're using this because it looks very proppy. That is probably the biggest thing about it that you're not going to like, is that it looks like a prop. It looks strange. But if you're performing in a stage or parlor setting, then that alone can justify it because of the large size of the cards. It only makes sense that you're using something this big because you have so many people that you are performing for. The other thing that is good is because this is totally examinable, you have nothing to hide. That also kind of takes the heat off of it because you can let everyone inspect it, you can, hand it out. No one is going to figure out the secret. In fact, when I first got this and I had the instructions in front of me, it actually took me a moment to figure out how to use it, even with the instructions, because that's how sneaky this is. So that's probably the biggest first negative. One other thing I would recommend that you can do to justify why you're using this, and I've used this myself, is that I've used this for pre-show on a spectator, or you could just have somebody think of an ESP symbol in a pre-show and have them write it down or something so they don't forget, and you can get a glimpse of that. And then during your show, you could tell them that you're going to call them up later during the show and ask them to think of a symbol, and you tell them, I want you to think of that symbol later on. You have them come up later, and of course no one else knows that you and them set that up ahead of time. You ask them, think of an ESP symbol, and you say, are you thinking of the 3 wavy lines? And they'll say, yeah, I am. And they'll be shocked because they'll have no idea how you knew that, although it will seem like you're just reading their mind in front of the whole audience. Then you could tell them, well, maybe you're just agreeing with me. How do I know that you really were thinking of that? And that's when you say, well, let's try it more of a test conditions way. And that's how you pull this out, because you tell them, what I want you to do is you're going to decide on a symbol, you're going to put it inside the envelope, and then you've committed yourself. You can't change your mind. We know that that's really what you're thinking of. And so that's how I have justified this in the past. Although recently I don't even go through that anymore. I just use it because the reality is that people don't really question it too much. The other negative aspect of this is that you have to hold it in your hands for a split second. So that's the reason why I don't do it more than just twice in a row, because somebody might figure out that, oh, he needs to hold it in his hand for a moment to gain the information necessary. You need to pick it up for a second. And one of the ways that I've done it is I've picked it up and handed it to somebody else to ask them, can you see through that? And in that moment is when I got the information. Because the reality is that you do need to handle it for a moment, just for a split second, that's all. It really is an excellent effect because it's totally baffling to your spectators. If you can get over those two minor negative things about it, I would recommend it to you because it really is a solid worker for me. Now, this is really built to last. I've had mine for 4 years. It's a little scuffed up, but otherwise it really is just as good as the day that I bought it. I think it's really worth the money. With so much magic that we buy that ends up in the junk drawer, I think that you're really gonna like this a lot. So this is this month's workers review, and I can't stress enough to you guys how useful this has been to me over the years. Maybe you will also get some use out of it. As always, if you have any questions about this review or anything else that I review, please just leave me a comment below. I wouldn't hesitate to rate this as 5 out of 5. Definitely is an excellent product, and I can't ask for anything more from it. So anyway, thanks again guys for tuning into my magic reviews, and I'll see you on the next review.